Like, did he poop all over these things, or are they saying the smell of the poop ruined the things? And some participants traveled to Atlanta from other countries. Maybe some people are into it. You know, there's a lot of weird stuff out there these days. If you do something bad against a trans person, it's obviously because they're trans. And so therefore, you're obviously a hateful person. Fulton County District Attorney Fani said on Friday that she would seek enhanced criminal charges under Georgia's hate crime laws against the Pennsylvania man who defecated, allegedly, on a pride flag during a global Black Pride celebration this past summer. A Fulton grand jury charged Ralph George Drabick, 44, with second-degree criminal damage to property and criminal trespass. They allege that overnight on August 27th, Willis came out, stood on the scene, brought her poop flag evidence on a poster board for everybody to see, and then presented her statement. It says it should have been a prideful celebration, but the defendant's actions cast a shadow on that event and cast some other things, and that was wrong. Crimes of this nature are motivated by hate and bias. They'll not be tolerated. She made the announcement during a press conference in the heart of Atlanta's gay community in Midtown, standing on one of the newly repainted crosswalks at the intersection of 10th and Piedmont. The crosswalks were recently expanded to include white, pink, and blue stripes to also represent the trans, and brown stripes and black stripes to commemorate communities of color, which I guess are all now bundled into one. So if you're black and brown, you are on team transgender, whether you like it or not. Now, the announcement came just ahead of the Atlanta Pride Festival, which takes place on Saturday and Sunday in Midtown. Roughly 300,000 people were there. Yeah, and there's Fani. There it is. There's the poop flag with poop all over the place. And there is a lot, it sounds like, of noxious odors. Odors of mendacity, odors of poop coming out of Fulton County. It's a lot. Willis was accompanied by Police Chief Darren, who detailed preparations that they created in advance of this event. He said, this police department chief, who's openly gay, said the crimes allegedly committed by Drabick strike close to the heart of the community. There was more than one victim that day. There was an entire community that was victimized that day. Because I guess if you're gay and someone poops on your flag, you're suddenly traumatized immediately. Drabick has yet to turn himself in. He's on the run. Public records show a white male matching Drabick's description. Oh, a white guy too. In a north suburb of Philadelphia. He did not immediately respond to messages when seeking a comment. This is not Willis's first time to try to use Georgia's relatively new hate crimes law. 3 years ago, Willis announced she was seeking hate crime charges against the man who murdered 4 Asian women at 2 Atlanta spas. Georgia's law offers sentencing guidelines for anyone convicted of targeting a victim based on their sexual orientation, and so he's being prosecuted thanks to Fani, who brought a fecal flag out and shared it all across Fulton County. That's what they're up to over there. Wow, great work. So here is the charge. The indictment has come down. 2 charges. Count 1, criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. All right, so you destroyed a flag, which is probably worth $10. And criminal trespass motivated by bias or prejudice. So a hate crime addition to that, I'm sure, to increase the penalties dramatically. Now, it was presented to a grand jury, so they brought in all these people, sat down, and they said, he pooped on it. Here's the evidence of the poop, and we tested the poop and the DNA matches, or something. Let's see where this goes. They say, all right, Ralph Drabick, the pride flag pooper, said on August 28th, he intentionally and without the consent of the owners, they did not agree to this at all, damaged certain property, including exhibit booths, pamphlets, trophies, framed artwork, and other things belonging to multiple exhibitors, vendors, and other certain individuals. And the damage exceeded $500. Did he like go on a rampage? Signage, crystal singing bowls, the electronic devices, trophies, framed artwork, including exhibition booths. Like, did he poop all over these things, or are they saying the smell of the poop ruined the things? Ralph George Drabick intentionally selected said victims and said property as the object of the offense because of the actual perceived race and sexual orientation of the victims. Well, no, I know poop can be traumatizing. That is true. Poop can be very traumatizing. But if it's, generally if it's near or around you. So maybe the poop smell is this damage, but it's over $500. And so here's count 2. They say that he also damaged a pride flag. This is criminal trespass belonging to Renee and Trans Wave Jamaica, an exhibitor participating in Global Black Village Exhibition Center and main stage. And he defecated on the flag, right? So I don't know what the backstory is on this. Let's see if there's more in the other damage. But he pooped on the flag based on sexual orientation. And so Fani Willis, with nothing better to do, is indicting this guy and holding press conferences conferences over it. So here's more. This is some more detail on the background. They are seeking enhanced penalties for this. They say, okay, Georgia law exists, and it provides that at any time after the filing of an indictment, that they can enhance the penalty if it is permissible under the law. And they're alleging that now. They say this guy, Ralph, is charged with intentionally damaging property. Booths, furniture, pamphlets, trophies, framed artwork, clothing items, signage, crystal signing bowls, electronic devices, and a pride flag. Right, so like, let's see, did he go on a rampage or something? The items damaged by the pooper belong to multiple exhibitors, multiple vendors, multiple individuals. The exhibition was being held at the Starling Atlanta Midtown, and some participants traveled to Atlanta from other countries. Maybe some people are into it. There's a lot of weird stuff out there these days. Why are they judging this man? Maybe other people wanted them to be pooping on him or something. Now, the event was held in the United States. The event included workshops, see, art exhibits, see, and a health conference, right? And there, we know how they define health. It's strange. Now, Michael E. Godaro, president and co-founder of Global Black Pride, has stated, the goal of Global Black Pride is to create a powerful platform that amplifies voices. We aim to foster everybody. We want to send a clear message that Black, LGBTQ+, expialidocious, and the rest of them, and our rights are non-negotiable. Now, the defendant caused extensive damage to the property of others. The choice to damage the property related to this event by its very own nature demonstrates that he intentionally selected this group because of their race, color, sex, orientation, and gender. No other property at the Midtown Hotel was damaged. He chose to damage the property that was Black Pride stuff only, right? So he's not out there just like on a rampage destroying other things. It's only their stuff. Now, the act of removing a pride flag from a booth, relocating it to another part of the exhibition hall, pooping all over it, and leaving it to be discovered by them was a particularly offensive and egregious example of his bias and prejudice. I don't endorse or encourage, of course, pooping on anything other than, a toilet bowl. But it's interesting that this is, I'm curious about this investigation. So like they track this dude down. And how do they know it's him? How do they identify that it's actually him? Do they have DNA? Did they check ID? Is it on security camera? The guy's at large. Did they arrest this dude? The defendant's selection of the victims in this case is based on their gender, sex, and also it constitutes selection based on sex, like male or female. That doesn't seem very right. Now, consistent with the recent and well-founded decision by the Supreme Court, when a defendant discriminates against a victim based on their orientation or because that victim is trans, the defendant is also necessarily and intentionally discriminates about them because of the sex. So it's very circular, obviously, right? If you do something bad against a trans person, it's obviously because they're trans. And so therefore, you're obviously a hateful person. Accordingly, the state hereby notifies that they're seeking enhanced penalties. So we really still don't know much about this case. This is what they posted, but they are going to try to prove that this is the guy. I don't know if they have evidence, like did they go and investigate him and get some DNA evidence from his garbage and they match the poop to him, or did he have to get a ticket to get admitted to the thing and then they backtraced it through all the surveillance? Like, how do they know it's the pooper? We have to ID the poop and the pooper. If the poop doesn't match the pooper, what are they going to do? So Fani is having to deal with another noxious odor in Fulton County. First one came from her. Second one allegedly came from Ralph George Drabeck, and she's leading the charge in Fulton County to clean the crap up off the streets. We'll see if she's successful. She should start with her own office, but she sure won't.